Hey there, this is Pastor Dan, and it's good to be with you again today. This short video is something I'm hoping will help us process this outreach idea of our community center and cafe and global missions. So let's talk. It's a community center. That's what we're really talking about. It's a place that offers solutions to questions that are being asked in our community. And some of the questions might be, how do I afford to clothe my children? Or how do I get out of debt? Or how do I resolve conflict in my home? Or how do I make more money so I can care for my kids? Ultimately, there are deeper questions like, how do I discover my purpose? And how does God fit into my future? As a church-based community center, we believe God is inviting us to go on this journey so that we can build relationships with people who God is opening to the story of Jesus. This is the eternal mission of the church, to worship God and embody the gospel and bring sick people to Jesus, the one who heals minds, bodies, and souls. The coffee part will help people linger. The relationship with Meredith in Kosovo will expand our global awareness. There are reasons for all the strategies we've discussed, and in the end, the ultimate reason is the Great Commission. But today, I'm going to bring you a brief list of 10 different benefits for being on this journey together. And I would ask that you would consider grabbing a pencil or a pen and giving yourself a score on each one of them. There are 10 items, and there are probably more, but these are 10 things that I thought of in the short time I wanted to build this video. Marking it a 10 means you think it's really important to the kingdom and important to our church and important to you. And if you mark it a 1 or a 0, you say it's not very important at all. So in a somewhat random order, here are 10 benefits or 10 reasons, and I wonder how you would feel important, how important these feel to you. The first is the collective witness of the church body in the community where the church sits. God has put us in this community. How important is it that we are a body witnessing for the kingdom where he's put us? Now, some of these might seem like, of course that's important, but really decide if it's important to you. Is it important to God's kingdom? And if it's important to the church, you kind of wrap those together in a ball and make that your number. So the first is collective witness of the church. The second, is it important? How important is it that the body is working together in unity with kingdom initiatives? Is it important? How important is it that the body of Christ, our church body, is working together for kingdom initiatives? Thirdly, how important is it that more people are able to use their gifts, their spiritual gifts? That we're making room for that. Fourth, how important is it that we come together to pray and open the scriptures and worship? Now, I know that we do this on Sundays in Zoom and on YouTube, but how important is it that we do this more often? And if we could offer this more often, would this be important? Fifth, how important is it that we maximize our space and our property for eternal purposes every day of the week? How important is it that we maximize our space and our property for eternal purposes? Number 6, how important is it that we meet more needs of more people in our neighborhood? That could be through classes or resources or benevolence, but how important is it that we're meeting more needs and opening more relationships with more people? Number 7, how important is it that we're strengthening our ability to talk about Jesus' story and its impact in our lives? How important is it that we are strengthening our ability to talk about Jesus? It might be through the 15-second testimony. There was a time in my life when I felt like things were undone. And I heard about the story of Jesus, and I started following him, and he helped me put my life together in a way that makes sense and brings me a sense of peace and hopefulness. Do you have a story like that? Strengthening our ability to talk about these things and practicing, a place to practice. Number 8, in participating in global missions through our time, money, and conversations. That's part of the strategy of this. It's to be people of mission and to participate in global missions. Number 9, what about seeing 20 people involved in new discipleship relationships? This is something that I've picked up as I've been praying for our church in 2022, that we would see 20 new people who are involved in some kind of discipling relationship. Maybe it's a discipleship group that meets on a Tuesday or a Thursday or a Friday. Maybe it's on Zoom. How important would it be if we saw 20 new people involved in discipleship? And maybe a few of us as well. And number 10, how important would it be to add reasons to be excited about inviting people to church? Not just inviting them to worship, but inviting them to come with you to an event or to an activity or to a program. Maybe where you're learning about some topic of interest, or you're sharing in a project, a craft project. These are all some of the things that we can do in our community center. Number 10 is adding reasons to be excited about inviting people into something around church. So, oh, they're my dogs. They're busy. So, how many of these do you feel are really important to the kingdom, to the life of our church, and to you as an individual? It's my guess that at least in some way, shape, or form, most all of these things are important to you. So let's consider folks with concerns. Now, your concerns may be really big or they feel maybe small. If you have concerns, they're valid concerns. They're certainly valid to you. It might be concerns around the divider, about how much space is left, about the costs, about how much we're going to charge people, about what programs we're going to offer, about how we're going to staff it, about the wisdom of the whole idea. And all those things are things that are concerns for me too. I don't know how they're all going to work. Now, if I take all these concerns and I pile them up on one side, and then I pile up the potential benefits on the other, how do the numbers stack up? For me, I find that there are things that are reasons to experiment with this, to try it, to see what happens. And I guess I'm really asking that you make the comparison in hopes that you'll find something good, something noble, something virtuous, something that aligns with God's kingdom, that will make this journey feel a little bit more expectant. I'm expectant. I know there are other people in church that are expectant, that I believe this is a valuable step. The hours, the coffee, the location, the divider, the purpose. It's a step of faith for sure. I don't know how it's going to go, but I do know that if we throw some weight behind it, we will be more of what God is wanting us to be. And if we all throw some weight behind it, I think there are some great things that God can do through us as we work together. As I said in the January 9th video, there are certainly reasons that are obstacles here. We've mentioned them already. But I don't know that any of those obstacles are reasons to not do it. It just means that there are going to be these things that we're going to have to work through. There are going to be these ways we're going to have to work together. There are going to be these ways we're going to have to give each other grace, and we're going to have to be patient with each other, and we're going to have to find ways that we can ask forgiveness and receive it. But there aren't any reasons why we couldn't, even if the going has some obstacles. As I think back to our founders, the founders of our church over 80 years ago, they may roll over in their grave at our culture and some of these methods that we're proposing. But I think they would stand and shout and cheer what we're trying to do as people of the kingdom, to bring the gospel to people in our neighborhoods, to be the salt and light of the gospel, to pray for their goods, to seek ways that we can minister Jesus into their environments, and to invite them into our space where we love them Tuesday through Saturday, Monday too, even if the building's not open, in hopes that they will be worshipers like we're worshipers. If we're on the hill and we're supposed to be a lighthouse, shouldn't we shine on more days than just Sunday? See, I think the answer to that inside is yes. Now, some of the mechanics are a little bit hard to figure out, but let's look for the reasons why we could and trust the Lord together, eh? God bless as you continue to pray for and process all that we're doing at First Alliance Church. First Alliance Church really is a good place to be.